Hello, I'm ToycatA, and today I'd like to talk about new mobs coming to Minecraft, and in particular I'd like to talk about mobs that Mojang have officially already said are coming to the game, definitely for sure, but that because of the way that they've said that, we know that they're not actually coming anytime too soon. And no, I'm not talking about features like the penguin, where Jeb has offhandedly mentioned he'd love to have penguins. I'm talking about real, confirmed mobs at a company-wide level. It's a super weird story, but let's tell how it's happening, and let's talk about all of the many possibilities they do have in today's video. But let's start at the beginning. How did all of this happen? Well, let's go back to the very first time the community officially got to decide a Minecraft mob. This was an idea to bring hype to the Minecon 2017, which was a Minecon Earth. In other words, it was a live show, so to make people watch the live show, they said anyone watching could decide on a new Minecraft mob. And then they put out a little bit of details about 4 brand new mobs, and they said very definitively many times that out of these 4 mobs, 1 will be picked, 1 will be coming to Minecraft, and the other 3 will be binned and thrown away and will never come to the game. They were very explicit about them never coming to the game, and the idea was to make it very high stakes. They wanted people to think like if their mob didn't come to the game now, it would never come to the game. Mob A, Mob C, and Mob D are all super cool concepts. I mean, there's a hovering inferno blaze, kind of king. There's a great hunger lizard creature that can eat your enchantments. There is a monster of the ocean depths, which was only going to spawn in the deep oceans, and all 3 of these mobs will never come to the game because of the promise they made about that to bring high stakes to it, which sounded like a great idea in theory. But then later on that year, after Mob B did come to the game, the Phantom, which by the way, one of the worst mobs ever, but we'll leave that to the side. But once they finally did bring it to the game, they realized that, oh, people are very upset about all of these cool concepts, ideas that we got them excited for, that we now know will never come to the game. It's a kind of bummer for most of the player base who would have preferred something else. Cough, 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 you're all bad for picking that choice. But the point is that people were very upset, and they made a lot of social media posts. There were some fairly big Reddit posts, and the idea was people wanted to guarantee that these mobs would come because they were all cool concepts. And this put Mojang in a hard place. If they did ever decide to commit to one of these 4 mobs, 1, they'd probably have to commit to the other 2 because they'd be, it'd be kind of seen that way, and 2, they would be going back on their word. They raised the stakes by confirming they'd bin the other 3 mobs, and the only way to keep those stakes high was to stick to their word even when it was unpopular. And so this is why when Minecon Earth 2018 came along, and with it another opportunity for Minecraft fans to have democracy, this year it was going to be a biome chooser, so not just a single mob, but a collection of features. There were going to be either a collection of desert features, a collection of taiga features, or a collection of savanna features, 3 big popular biomes. The players would choose which of those would be updated in the next update, which set of features would come, and to kind of head off the criticism that was received last year, they decided to be like very clear upfront, hey, the one that you vote on will be coming first, and the other biomes will be added in future updates, which made it sound like it was an official plan, like, oh yeah, we have all these 3 sets of features already planned and ready to add to the game, but we'll add one now, and then we'll add another one in an update that makes sense. Like, it made it sound like they had plans, because we know they plan at least 2 years in advance, so maybe 1.14 could have the winning biome, 1.16 could have the second, best chosen biome, and then 1.18 could have the third. But as you probably know by now, the taiga did win. The taiga included features that you probably think of as Minecrafty by now. Campfires are probably the biggest one. Berries are kind of interesting, and foxes, they do technically exist, and they make very cute plushes. But because the taiga biome won, not just in the first round by a huge majority, but in the second round, it won 2/3 to 1/3 against Savannah. We now have a taiga update as part of the Village and Pillage, but we have yet to see a desert update. We do not see palm trees and meerkats and oases in the game, and you'll also notice that your savannas are lacking baobabs and termites and ostriches. You'll notice already they've got 3 mobs which have been, officially said are coming to Minecraft at some point, but we don't really know too much about that, but that's fine because, I'm sure they got the wording better for the year after, like they said future updates, kind of made it sound like it was a thing that was definitely happening. But then Minecon Earth 2019 comes along. It's actually called Minecon Live 2019. Let's not think too hard about how they name their conventions, which aren't conventions, by the way. They're on the internet. They are live shows. So calling it a Minecon to begin with is wacky, and then calling it Minecon Earth for 2 years, and then Minecon Live for the 3rd year. And by the way, the one happening this week is going to be Minecraft Live, but leaving that to the side, let's not think about it too hard. Let's just mention that to get people excited for the biome vote of 2019, where, again, you could choose from 3 biomes, the swamps, the badlands, or the mountains. They said the exact same thing, that the other 2 things would get the new features, but at a later date. And then what people did is they voted between the Badlands, the swamp and the mountains. It was a little bit closer this time. Both the swamp and the mountains were incredibly popular. In the end round, it went down to 53% versus 47%, but basically mountain was picked, and this is super exciting because now, it's been a full year later, so we have snowier snow, we have improved mountain generation, and we have goats in the game. That has happened because we the players picked for that to come first, and yeah, of course I'm being sarcastic, but it's interesting because even the one we voted for, even the one that they explicitly said we would be adding to the game as in the fastest time, is still going to be taking at least a year. Even if it is revealed next week, it's coming out on that very day. Even if it came out today, a few days before it, it would still be over a year between when the community decided the features they wanted, just free by the way, and when it comes to the game. That is a rant for another time, and a rant we've made many times, but it's interesting because they also promised that, oh yeah, alongside that, at some point, we'll have treasure boats and frogs and mangrove trees in the swamps, and we'll also have a Badlands update with tumbleweeds, vultures, and a new type of flowery cactus. However, as you all do know, if the one that we voted for hasn't had its features yet, it's looking unlikely that the ones we didn't vote for will, and that's where the interesting point in today's video comes from. Minecraft loves adding new mobs to the game, and therefore you could logically assume that all of the mobs that we, have seen confirmed as definitely coming in future updates would be coming pretty darn soon, right? However, there are now 5 mobs on the losers of a Minecraft live event, Minecon, or whatever you want to call it next year. They're going to change the name again, we can tell it, right? But, whatever you want to, say to these things, there are losers of these democratic events, which they have officially committed to at some point, but there's a big question as to, why would they ever do it? Even though I love the idea of, frogs sound cute, vultures sound fun. I think termites would be an interesting addition to Minecraft, whatever they would do. I think ostriches are a necessary thing for savannas, and I think meerkats would be super adorable. I mean, look at this meerkat right here. This is a fake one that someone's drawn for it, but you can see how adorable and great these ideas could be. But even though that's the case, the question for Mojang is, why would they ever do it? They've committed to adding it at some point in the future, which is the Vegas commitment. Minecraft is a game they intend to keep running for 100 years. They just said, oh yeah, we'll totally do that to avoid the controversy of the first time. When they committed to never doing it, people got very disappointed, and presumably they could have committed that oh yeah, we're not throwing them away, we just don't have plans right now. But even that wording makes it sound like, oh yeah, if you don't get this feature now, it will never come to the game. So they committed to something which you can commit for pretty much anything in the world. These features will come to Minecraft. Palm trees will come to Minecraft at some point. With a long enough time span, that is technically true. Meerkats will come to Minecraft at some point. I think they're actually the cutest individual idea. But the problem is, Mojang actually has proper polling for, unlike very few things in the world. They didn't know until they revealed the Never update, would it be popular or would people hate it? They don't know until next Saturday, will people hate the cave update or will people hate it? We don't know for sure until they they announce it, which is usually after it's been in planning, but they know before they even start development on frogs. They know before they even start development on the termites, the ostriches, the meerkats, the vultures, the 5 mobs which are officially coming to Minecraft but aren't officially coming to Minecraft, because they know before they add those things that those are less popular than existing features in the game. We know, for instance, the Badlands, only 14% of players voted for it in the first round, which meant that fewer than 14% of people think vultures are exciting enough to pick over other features, and as a result, Minecraft knows that even if they really wanted to get around to doing these things, which, by the way, the list is going to grow every single year. There are two biomes which weren't chosen in 2018, 2 biomes not chosen in 2019. There's going to be 2 or 3 mobs not chosen in 2020, right? When you start adding up this huge pile of things together, we're at 5 unchosen mobs right now, about to be 7 or 8. It just makes you realize that, oh yeah, they're gaining unchosen mobs at a faster rate than they're adding them to the game. This list will get super, super long, and if features do come to the game in the future, it's not because of that commitment where they said, oh yeah, we'll totally do it. It's because they wanted to for some separate reason. It's an interesting thing to study from kind of a PR perspective, I guess, where the idea of throwing something away added high stakes, but it made a lot of people upset. So all you've got to do is you've got to promise that at some point it will totally come, and you neutralize any criticism, any fears that wait, aren't all of these features cool? Because we're going to get hyped up about all the new mobs that are coming in 2020. They're all going to sound great in their own ways, and knowing that in theory the ones that we don't pick are totally also going to come, brings some solace, and it makes people less angry, and anger is not an emotion that makes you think rationally, as we can see from politics season 2020, am I right? But like, you know, we can see that when you are super riled up, you're going to do some dumb stuff, and Mojang don't want that for their brand. They don't want that for their employees that have to deal with it. So instead you just say it's coming at some point, but we know the mob that you pick in 2020 is coming at some point, maybe in 2022, 2021. You know, it's not looking good for the prognosis on even the biomes we do pick, and that means that if the biomes we do pick are super delayed, the biomes you don't pick, the mobs you don't pick, they're realistically in the far future plan of things that someone could get around to at some point, but are not happening. And it kind of comes back to that whole, like, how does a company really work? How do plans and roadmaps and future things work? If something is promised with a particular release date, even a release quarter, even a release year, you can, like, be sure that it's on someone's radar, someone is going to be nudged by that again, and they have to come back to it. Whereas if you think about treasure boats in swamps, if you think about, you know, like, when are baobab trees coming to the savannah, the answer is whenever someone feels like doing it, or whenever someone remembers it. And although those things can happen, again, even if that does happen, even if that unlikely thing, someone by just pure chance remembers a thing they came up with 2 years ago, then they even then know it's not going to be the most popular feature because only 28% of people voted for the savannah. Only 35% of people against the tiger voted for it. And therefore, as a result, these are features that are officially on the to-do list for Minecraft, but the only features on the to-do list for Minecraft, which they have very public opinion polling on, saying it is not a good idea to add. And I just think it's kind of beautiful the way how we have a list of mobs which have been reviewed by the Minecraft team because they are very popular, so we have no confirmation they're coming, we just know they've been spoken about, and therefore those features which we have no confirmation of are more likely than the features which we have confirmation of but are very unpopular. There are unpopular confirmed features in Minecraft, and there are very popular unconfirmed features in Minecraft, and maybe it's a good thing that the popular features from the community are more likely, or maybe you don't think that. Maybe you think that when a company says we will add it in the future, they should have a plan on when to add it, and I totally am on this side. I think that, for instance, there are many features which would be super great for Bedrock, but no one has an incentive to add, and all the business people are saying, no, don't do it. Like custom superflats, why do you need it on Bedrock when you can just buy some stuff? Or, you know, hardcore mode, why do you need hardcore mode? Play through an adventure map instead. There are lots of, you know, things which Minecraft Bedrock could have added years ago, but has had an incentive not to add, and therefore, you know, I'd like to see hardcore. We had it confirmed, it seemed, and here we are at the end of 2020, no sign of it again, because when there are direct incentives for you not to do something, it kind of lowers your odds of doing so, and I just think it's super interesting when you see that on a company-wide level. I think if you want to, you know, when you see a games company commit to something that is super important for the fans, when you see anyone commit to something, if they don't have a timeline at all, you can be sure that, like, oh yeah, they'll just get to it when they want to, which is great, which is fine, but it's just an interesting thing. And it just reminds me of, like, whenever people ask, like, when are you next doing a realm experiment, ToycatA? When I think it's a good idea. If I could commit to a timeline, that'd be better if you definitely want to get into one, but I just say, oh yeah, at some point, in 2020, there'll be a thing, and by the end of 2020, I'll probably do one, but it's not the most present thing on my mind like it might be on the person who asks it, and saying that I'm definitely doing it at some point in the future is an easy way to, like, kind of neutralize people. I know it's an interesting, you know, thought about how PR and company relations work, isn't it? And maybe you found this interesting, and if you did enjoy this video, I would like to do a tiny plug for something super exciting I've been working on. So I, have noticed the marketplace is filled mostly with either adventure maps or survival-based maps, which are incredibly easy. You know, it would be challenging to a 4-year-old if they hadn't played Minecraft before. There aren't many challenge maps in the store that actually are fun survival content for you, and that's why, I set out. It's been a multi-month process now to get partnered with Minecraft first of all, to go through all the specifications, make a map, meet all the requirements. I've been doing this for months now, but there is officially a finished product coming out for the works. It's called Ultra Hard Survival Scorched. The idea of the series is that it's ultra hard survival, so like ultra hardcore, but we can't do hardcore yet because hardcore isn't on Bedrock. So instead it's ultra hard survival. So it's survival with natural regeneration turned off. It's in a super hostile, literally lava-filled wasteland. It's gonna be a nightmare, and I think if you're looking forward to that nightmare, if you want to play an actually challenging map, then on next Tuesday, actually, we have an official release date now, Tuesday the 29th, That map is coming out. I am so incredibly excited to see this in people's hands. You know, like we've done some very small scale testing, but I want to see, you know, some of you picking up the map. And if you want to do so, it'll be on the Minecraft store. I think it costs 660 Minecoins. You can convert that to your local area. I am super excited for it. If you are too, let me know. If you're not and you don't care about any of the things above, that's cool too. You know, I feel like more YouTubers should have this little disclaimer that I'm excited about this thing. I wanted to share it with you all. But if you're not, then good news. I'll see you for an unrelated Store Saturday and Seed Sunday over the weekend. Thank you for watching. I'll have a nice day. Wait, I'll have a nice day. You have a terrible day, because I'll see you also on Saturday, the 3rd of October, for Minecon Live 2020. It's Minecraft Live 2020. Damn it. This video, I was doing my best to try and keep it together. I was like, okay, it's easy system. It's Minecon Earth, Minecon Live, Minecraft Live. No, it's not easy. No one can follow that system. But you can join me. We're going to be doing like a live party event where we all watch it live. We can react to it live, etc. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am incredibly hyped. And yeah, next Saturday is that. And next Tuesday is when Ultra Hard Survival Scorched comes out. If you do buy it, send me a tweet, send me a picture. Let me know how it goes. I'm super curious. And I guess I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.